Hey everyone, so in today's video, we're gonna go over my favorite settings for Welcome to Bloxburg and how I prefer to play it, and I hope it helps if you are looking to change your settings or change something about your game. I've seen a lot of people confused about some of the settings and what they actually do or what they actually mean, so I thought, you know what, let's make a video about my favorite settings. So starting with the escape button, now this is very simple. I just usually leave my camera sensitivity at half. It's always been like that ever since I started playing Roblox, so I just leave it there. Same thing with shift lock switch or camera mode, just stuff like that. I just leave that all off. I don't like shift lock switch because on Belgian keyboards, well, French keyboards actually, you have to press shift to type numbers, and every time I do that, well, you know, I turn on shift lock mode, so I don't really like that. Full screen is on. I mean, I can play not full screen if I put it like this, but then you always see that dock at the bottom. I don't know why, I kind of don't like that, so I tend to keep it in full screen just so I have my full screen available to me. Then one thing I did change, and that is the graphics quality. I like to keep it at maximum for some reasons I'm going to go over right now. So the first reason being is shadows. For example, your counters, if your graphics are on maximum, and I will go back to that in my settings as well here, but if your graphics are on maximum, you actually get shadows in your counters on your basic shapes. If you turn that off, as you can see, all of the shadows actually disappear and you have no shadows in your house. Once you get used to that, there's just no going back really. As you can see how much it changes, you get shadows everywhere. Just looks a lot more realistic, and I kind of prefer using max graphics just for that. However, if your PC can't handle it, then you have to use lower graphics, but that is one of the reasons I like to use max graphics as well. Now I will come back to that when I go to settings and options, and I'm actually gonna go there right now. So as you can see in my graphics, so if you go, let me actually show that again because I went over it pretty fast. If you go to settings and options and you go to advanced, scroll all the way to the bottom, you will see graphics right here. So house render distance and other render distance is on auto for me, but icon, weather, and object quality are on high. Now the reason my object quality is high ties in with the highest graphics settings. It's very simple and very subtle, but as you can see, your trees move when your graphics are at the maximum. So I just like those tiny little effects of like your stuff moving a little bit. It just adds a little detail to the game, and like the little plant right here is wiggling as well. Just stuff like that I kind of like and just like to keep it on. Does my PC like it? Not every time, especially loading big builds in or having a lot of big builds in a server sometimes makes me lag, but it's worth it for me. And yeah, I just like to keep it at maximum all the time. Just the drop shadows, the trees moving, just little details that add a lot to the game. It also happens with growable. So for example, your sunflowers will move a little bit and just everything just has a little animation to it. Kind of love that. Just want to keep it like that. Going back to options, to the top, primary color, I still have to change that one, but I do love to use custom colors. Now, usually what I do to change that is just go to Google, look up color wheel, and then the first website that pops up, Adobe color wheel. I click that. I don't need any of that. There's a little X button at the top, and then I just play around with colors. For example, we're going into Halloween right now. I want monochromatic colors, so more of like the orangey colors. I kind of like the darker orangey colors. Maybe move this a little bit down. I feel like D is a good color to have in Bloxburg, kind of Halloween-ish as well. And as you can see right here, it says color mode RGB. So as you can see, it will give you the numbers. So 117, 93, and 76. You can ignore the brightness. That's just changing the brightness level. It will change your RGB code as well, so we don't really need that. So 112, 89, and 73 it is now. And then I just add my colors in here, 112, 79, and 93 if I remembered it correctly. It's kind of hard to remember stuff while doing a voiceover. That does not look at all like the color I had. 112, 89, and 73. Okay, 112, 89, and 73. And there you go, I have like a brownish Halloween color right now. Might change it again, but whatever. Language, English. My videos are in English. Usually, even if I didn't do videos, I put stuff in English because putting it in Dutch sometimes is a little bit weird, especially for games like Bloxburg. So I like to keep the language English, just to keep it simple. Name tag contributor, I like to flex, I'm sorry. Who can invite everyone, who can donate friends. I don't want donations from everyone, even if I'm in a public server. It's nice that people want to donate, but I'm scared to get donated glitch money, so no thank you. Automatically pay bills, I have an entire video about that. That is on. It takes a bit longer for automatic bills to get paid, and if you wait for your bills to come around and then pay them manually, you have to pay them quicker, so I like to keep that on. Also, if you forget and having to turn back your electricity on, I mean, it's not a lot of work, but just like to keep it on. Negative mood effect, so that's a game pass, I like to keep that off. If that's off, you will never have a yellow cloud around you if you stink, so that's very nice for me. I don't have to buy the 25 block bucks mood upgrader every single time or use a mood station or anything. I can just turn it off and never have a yellow stink cloud around me anymore. Interaction tooltip is off as well. A lot of people are confused about that. Now, if that's on, you'll actually get these E turn off or E sit. Well, yeah, E sit right here or E sell. All of the tooltips, that is a tooltip, pop up. So E to sit, I like to keep them off. Sometimes I turn them on depending on what I do, but most of the times I keep them off. Going back, standing up, as you can see, moving around, you don't see any of the tooltips, and I can just still press the buttons that I use. So I press E to interact with everything. I can still do that. It's just, it doesn't show up anymore. But then sometimes you make little mistakes like turning off candles because you press E on the wrong thing. And then sometimes you have to click and use on an item. If there's a lot of other items that have interactions, link to them as well. So it really depends on what you want to do. Family permission guest, I don't like to give people roommate because I don't want my special items to be gone, or like the items in my fridge, just don't want them to be gone. So there's that. For my neighborhood settings, the name, don't question it. Weather, usually clear. I don't like when it's another type of weather, but I can change it if I want to. Sometimes I change it to thunderstorm and I think I'm finally gonna get the lightning trophy. However, never gotten it. My ground color, usually keep it the same as in public servers because I don't like to use a different grass color, especially because my house, going in build mode, and most of my houses are like that, use basic shapes on the floor. And if I have to change the color of my basic shapes every single time I go back to a public server, I don't want to do that. And having another type of grass around it just makes the house look a little bit weird. Who can join friends? I don't like to open my private server to everyone because I gotta be honest, when I open it to everyone and people start joining, it's very, very hard for me to record, and that is what I use my neighborhood for. So if I open it to everyone, I just end up talking to people and taking screenshots with people, or people jump around my plot, and it's very hard to say no because, well, max players 5, again, I keep it very low because I'm usually recording on my neighborhood, and if I'm recording, I don't want to be bothered. I'm usually in like a type of zone and I lose my concentration very, very, very easily. So if I get taken out of my concentration, I usually end up not recording and having to record again or start over. So that's why I keep it low. Now blocks players, let's not start there. Then build mode, sell confirmation is off. So if that's on, when you sell expensive items, it will give a little pop-up and it will just say like, oh, are you sure you want to sell, for example, this car? I don't need that. Oh, and for my neighborhood as well, the time is usually around midday because I like when the sun is at its highest point, but that's personal. Edge scrolling is on. I also have that on in The Sims. That's basically if you go in build mode and you go to the edges of your screen, you can actually just go like this without doing anything. So yeah, that's what it does. It just kind of moves around your screen, but I have a lot of pop-ups, but still, like if you go to the edges of your screen, it will just move around like that without having to use your keyboard buttons. What happened with that Roblox icon? My goodness. Roommate building off for obvious reasons. Build mode weather off. Again, if it's raining in a server, I don't want it to rain when I'm in build mode. That's basically what it does. It turns off the weather if you're in build mode. You can do that in public servers as well. If it's raining in a server, it won't rain when you go in build mode. Build mode time midday. You can change that in build mode as well. Music volume 5, local volume 0, radio volume 5. I never really messed with these settings. I might actually want to turn that on. I forgot to actually go over whether I mentioned my volume being so low. I like to listen to music when I play Roblox, so usually keep that a little bit lower. I still want to hear everything that's in the game though, so I keep it on. but not on the maximum. Going to advanced. So this I went over already, and the rest you can't really change that. So those are my settings. So if any of that helped you, let me know in the comments down below, or if there's anything you didn't know yet. For example, the shadows when you put your graphics on maximum or something like that. Let me know in the comments down below. Thank you guys so much for watching. Hit that like button and please subscribe.